Those are my biggest three right now.
Find this.
And we are live. Welcome to NBA Live Before Lock. It is Friday, March 29th. I am Josh Engleman. I'm joined by Eric Lindquist. We're brought to you by Dinger, which sounds like it'd be some new site because you never know what we're going to say when it comes to these pick'em sites. But it's actually just our MLB promo, which you should sign up for. I'll tell you more about it. Or you could just immediately go click the link because baseball locks in 45 minutes, I think. So go get in now if you want to. Hit the like button as well. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Follow us both on Twitter. What's good, man?
Here in Arizona for Easter, so kick it in Scottsdale if anybody wants to go get a drink and go do the thing here tonight, because I'll be bouncing around, probably head down to DraftKings Sportsbook for a little bit. They have good tacos, so good to be back in God's country out here.
What kind of taco do you prefer?
Carnitas for the most part. I like the carnitas. I'm a big
carnitas.
carnitas guy. Carne asada. I think both of those are pretty fire. I like the things that are a little bit more complex than just chicken or just steak. Like if I wanted to have just chicken or just steak tacos, I'd make them at home.
Sure. I love carne asada, man.
So
Love
good.
It. Not
Especially
that I want to
here.
say that this is great carne asada, but for passable carne asada, pre-packaged at Trader Joe's, throw that bad boy on the grill, 2-3 minutes each side, char that bad boy up. Oh, phenomenal.
I would say Trader Joe's probably the most underrated place to get food, period, on earth. Like, I know a lot of people go there and it's like the LA thing, it's like the scene thing, but like, I still don't think it gets the love it deserves for actually being good. Like, I don't like TV dinners. I never really liked them growing up. I can take anything from the frozen food section at Trader Joe's, heat it up, and it's better than most things that I would make on my own.
I am a massive fan. I had no idea what it was until I moved down here, and we popped into one in Raleigh, and I was like, this is the coolest grocery store I've ever seen. The only downside is that every single one of them is in the worst place possible. Every parking lot sucks. Every store is too small.
Yep.
I hate every bit of that experience. I only ever want to be there when it's not busy. Unsurprisingly, can't stand human beings. So any day that it's busy there, it's a real mess. But I love basically everything that they have. It's the ultimate place to go for stoner snacks.
In LA, you have to mow down like 14 Save the Whale people too on the way in. That's not an enjoyable experience. It's truly just like, hey, would you? No, I do not want to. And it's kind of like Walking Dead where they're all doing the
I'd
thing.
be like, if they had whale burgers in here, I'd get them.
Just come out with like a pig on a stick.
Can you buy whale?
No, they're an endangered species.
Are they?
Yeah,
all
I'm pretty
whales?
sure. Not all whales, but some whales, most whales, I think, because they got speared for so much stuff. That would be insane to me.
It isn't sold in the United States. You can order whale meat in Japan.
What's the animal cutoff? Is it just like whatever people find cute and adorable, or
I think it's anything that isn't human, or I'd like to assume that things in the monkey, chimpanzee, ape variety is pretty frowned upon.
Yes, I would assume so, because they're most similar to us.
Everything in the ocean is fair game, right?
Manatees, definitely not in Florida.
I mean, like what? Who out there is eating dolphin?
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
It's a good way to start a show.
Would you try whale and or dolphin if it were provided to you?
No comment, because I would like to be employed, not just here, but anywhere in my future. So somebody somewhere would frown upon a clip of me saying that I've tried dolphin or whale.
I would definitely try whale.
I think I would too. It's like it would be blubberous. I feel like it would have good fat.
You would think you slow cook that, it gets all melty.
Ooh.
I
Just
bet whales eat
like
so much
butter.
ocean garbage.
Be a little salty, got a little bit of a kick. Put some chilies, some like chili pepper on it.
Yeah. A little soy sauce, maybe. I don't know. To me, whale naturally is going to go just like sushi. I got to go light soy, not much else.
Well, I mean, the thing is, we're talking about whale, but like, I've seen the raw octopus when the sushi guy comes up and like is doing the
Yeah.
thing, and it's just like got the tentacle sitting right in front of you. That's a trip. It's fancy dinners like Jordan Klein when he comes along with me, and then I get to grab the bill, which is always fun.
Jordan's going to be ordering extra whale next time you guys go out. I know it. I know how
Dude,
he
bro,
works.
chill. No, oh no, I forgot my wallet. Oh shit, darn it. Oh no, dude, bro, chill.
You want to talk some basketball? I don't think chat's happy that we're talking about eating shamu.
So, would you rather eat whale or Grady Dick? That's pretty funny. That's a Moby Dick joke.
Mm, mm. Fun slate. 10 games. I really thought we were going to get 9 here and they were going to drop that 9 o'clock game and just lock it up by 8. But instead, they went full 9 and made the slate suck by having terrible contests. A real double whammy coming out of DraftKings today.
Yeah, I played 25 lineups. I'm like 25K up top, like whatever. It is what it is. I'm just going to fire a little bit here before I head out and hope news doesn't break like crazy because immediately upon this, we are going to a bar. So, I am playing some baseball, playing some NBA, but like pretty limited amounts tonight.
I say we started off. We already got 2 super chats. I feel like it's in our best interest to break those bad boys down.
Let's do it.
What do you say?
Yeah, let's party.
The first super chat. I don't think you're going to be surprised to hear what this is. Ace of Spades wants to know what the best DK tiers options are. We'll go ahead and pull up the categories and the players, and we could break this one down. So,
you know how we kind of like have habitual things that we do? Like, I think you pull up your workbook is like the first thing for me. I basically just transfer over odds, and I like make myself do it by hand so that I'm paying attention a little bit more. I like we all have our process. My first thing for this DFS show is always making DK tier lineups for Ace of Spades. Like, I just assume that we got the question and then figure it out from there.
Yeah, I'm going to need to remember that because I was filibustering here a little bit because I'm fully unprepared for the tiers question because I haven't talked about tiers in a very long time. So I've loaded
yesterday though.
I'm good to go. I'm going to start posting my baseball tier stuff to Twitter again once I get a little bit more in the swing of baseball and like get all my stuff built out the way that I want it because I know I had a couple requests for it, so that'll be fun. The basketball side, I think, is a lot easier to talk about. It really is just who's projected for the most there. Baseball could be a little bit different based on the type of hitter that is in each tier. But either way, I got it up here right now. I'm going to run my top 50 lineups using my projections. Tier 1. I got Nikola Jokic in every single lineup.
By a mile.
This one's not close at all for me.
No.
I have Jokic 8 fantasy points ahead of Victor Wembanyama. This one is miles away.
I have it 12 away, so that's going to be a fun talking point.
There we go. Yeah. All right, tier 2. Who's the play?
LeBron James by quite a bit.
Yes, it is. He got to 75% of my run. The other 3 guys are, interchangeable as far as I could tell. Tier 3, who you got?
So Tyrese Halliburton's the chalk. I also like Tyrese Maxey. I've got him 2 fantasy points apart.
I've got that gap at 3. I agree that it's Halliburton at the top. Maxey would be 2. I would have trouble going any further down unless I'm using this spot as a spot to get very different. Tier 4.
This is the closest one, period, by quite a bit for me. I ended up saying Steph, but I think he ends up being the chalk at the position, which might have me leaning towards going to Kuzma against Detroit, but it's pretty darn close between those 2.
I have it Kuzma by a lot, which is really interesting to think about when these guys don't have salaries, because you wouldn't naturally get there. But it's like, okay, well, he gets to face the Pistons. They play relatively fast. The defense is pretty bad. Kuzma gets everything that he could possibly want. He's a very different player without Tyus Jones out there. So yeah, Kyle Kuzma beating out Steph for me. Have to assume though, Steph is like the natural casual click in tier 4.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I'm kind of saying is like, those are the times where if I've got it within a fantasy point, I will probably just go to the lower owned guy. So I assume that to be Kyle Kuzma.
Tier 5.
This one's different. This one's difficult for me because I like Cade Cunningham purely because if I'm going to play Kuzma, I don't mind having both of the exposures there. But Pascal Siakam would be number 2 for me.
Siakam is the guy that I got at the top. I have it actually as a 3-horse race between Pascal Siakam, Cade, who you mentioned, and I'm very heavy on Miles Bridges, who we will at some point in time get to during this show.
Okay. We got Caleb Martin now questionable, but everybody else is in there for the Heat, so that's good to know.
Okay. And then tier 6 is not even up for debate, I don't think.
Jalen Williams.
Correct. 75% for me. Scattered amounts of the rest of these guys. I assume there aren't more tiers. Yeah, no, stops at 6.
Yep, good
cool
stuff.
So Ace of Spades, thank you for that super chat. Appreciate it. One more super chat in here. Barry Deering. Hey guys, what are your cash game locks for today?
I will pull up.
Marvin Bagley.
Gee, thank you. Let me pull up my sheet here. DK Tiers is taking forever to get out of here. Hang on.
Marvin Bagley for sure. He's the highest owned guy on DraftKings right now.
Yeah, he's the auto click. We talked about Jalen Williams just a second ago. He's probably up there, him and Giddey. And then, I mean, there's kind of an interesting grouping of guys. I'm just looking between like guys that are 15 to 20% owned in our projections as far as like, all right, who would I be getting to more of? I'm playing a lot of Dennis Schroeder, it would appear. I loved Cameron Thomas on the last slate. I'm a little bit worried he gets steamed up here, and I'm kind of going to the Schroeder Mikal Bridges side of things. So I
think Jabari Walker, given his price.
Yep, for sure. Jabari Walker's in contention there. I just want to run my optimal here too with everything put together.
Caruso in.
Okay, that's important.
For me personally, Andrew Wiggins ranks really high. And I've no problem with Cam Thomas either, but I've got Wiggins ranking pretty high. He's showing up a lot in my lineups.
Mm-hmm. I think the
Jordan
spend
Poole,
up. Yeah, the spend up is an interesting one. I think looking at that, Jordan Poole, don't mind that. He is in my optimal right now. And then I think now that we got Anthony Davis in officially against Indy, that has to be my preferred spend up out of everybody.
I think so. He's the highest owned guy in terms of any spend ups. Next closest guy in salary to him, anywhere near him in ownership, is actually Kuzma at 8,300. When I ran my stuff, I didn't really get to that upper tier. But if you're going to have the salary left over, I think AD ends up being that guy. But you could build a pretty balanced lineup today with a couple of those 7K, 8K guys that seem to be popping a lot.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I guess for me, it's more of like in cash, having the opportunity. Like I think there's enough mid-range guys where just getting to AD doesn't feel all that cost prohibitive. I did have Trey Mann pop in my optimal. I hate that idea for cash, so don't do that. He's like 7% owned, and yet I don't know why I like him so much. It would appear the data does, so here we are. But I think AD, if you're going to spend up for anybody whatsoever on this slate, he's probably the guy. It won't obviously be Brunson, Booker. We'll carve through like some tournament options that we have. I think Donovan Mitchell's completely out of play for tournaments, but like I love Tyrese Maxey for tournaments today. He was going to be Nuke of the night until somebody else popped up for me. But yeah, again, those are not cash considerations.
All right, let's hit on the pay-ups on the slate. I'm going to define pay-up as 9K or higher. That would be Nikola Jokic, Victor Wembanyama, AD, LeBron, Edwards, Durant, Brunson, Mitchell, Booker. Who is your preferred pay-up option today in your lineups? Who do you see as the guy that you're going to get to most? Or even if maybe the answer is, I don't really have one.
Anthony Davis and LeBron James, 1-2, 10-4, 10-3, multi-positional eligibility, and the Indy bump is just fantastic. What is it, 245 total here at the moment? That's pretty useful. And I mean, it just feels like on this slate, we've got a chasm that exists between those two. And then Victor Wembanyama is sitting there for what, 0.7% ownership, and yet I mean it's weird he's not showing up to like 200th lineup or something. So amongst like all the way up there, I just like getting to the tippy top with those two. Jokic is kind of a luxury item. There's no way that I'm going to be landing on him at 12K in this matchup specifically. And then I think there's just nobody in like the 9K range that I find to be all that appealing. It's like 8K range I'm hammering in tournaments, 9K range completely unowned besides one share of Anthony Edwards out of my 150. And then, yeah, Jokic is just impossible for me to really get to for whatever reason. I think part of it is Marvin Bagley absorbing so much ownership at the center position. So because of the multi-positional eligibility, how they're fitting for me, I've got Anthony Davis in 48% of lineups, and I've got LeBron James in 15. But again, I have nobody really above 8,500, 8,600 it is, that I've got in more than 10% of my lineups other than those two.
The most I have of anybody north of 9K is 9% of Anthony Davis. I'm just not in that range. I did get to 9% of Jokic, which is sort of whatever, 3.5%, but I'm finding it very difficult to want to go to that pay up section. I think balanced is the path that I appear to be taking. I got to 12% Halliburton, who is just on the outside of that range. But then the first guy that I actually am getting to is 25% of Kyle Kuzma.
Ooh, I like that. I mean, Kyle Kuzma's awesome here. I mean, I just consolidated this down. I'm just playing the 25 lineups, and Kyle Kuzma's in 15 of them. So he's actually somebody that I have in 60% of my top 25. So that is useful. I'm on board with you there. I think we talked about it during the tier section a little bit, but it's a Detroit matchup that, yeah, you can get after it. It's going to be pretty easy for Kyle Kuzma to run into some stats here. And, you know, coming off of being injured or whatever it is, he fell down to 8,300. This is a guy that, you know, was 8,600 here earlier in the season for a pretty long period of time. 8,300 with power forward center, pretty easy to land on today.
Did you look at my run sheet by any chance?
I did not at all. 0%.
Perfect. That means you are not ready for what's about to happen. It is time, everybody, for the exotic play of the day.
Hit it, Jordan.
Hope you're ready, folks. Hit that like button if you haven't done it yet. Ah, looks good.
Look at that shit.
This is fantastic. Look at that snarl.
2020 NBA Finals bubble. Oh, dude, that in 80s face was so funny.
What? It's AD's reaction after it, where he's just, what?
I feel like
that shot goes, it goes.
I mean, that was the Lillard against Paul George in his face, like almost the exact same spot on the floor, too.
Well,
Luka.
Who is the exotic play of the day?
I mean, I thought it was going to be Jokic coming into this, but I'm just not rostering him whatsoever. So that's an enjoyable experience. That's normally the opposite. Normally, I'm the guy who's going for the spends ups here. Does Klay Thompson count?
I don't feel like I'm the person that's supposed to answer this, but
there you go.
I'm pretty sure it's no.
Okay. Vasily Misic would be the guy that is the exotic player I have the most of in 14% of lineups.
I think you're missing one, I would imagine.
Oh, duh, Josh Giddey. I'm an idiot. Yeah, I have a lot of Josh Giddey. I just went by him because we did. So we already have this segment that I don't like, that is what it is. And then we have to say Josh Giddey's the exotic play of the night, which that can be taken out of context even further. And SGA is officially out there. There we go. He was doubtful, but just saying.
I'll let you go with Josh Giddey. That's not really my cup of tea. Just, you know, whatever choices you want to make in life, that is fine. My one of the night goes to Chet Holmgren. Love it. What up, Chet? What up, Chet?
Unbelievable. What a time to be alive. What a time to be alive.
Thunder cornering the market on exotics.
Yeah. Who'd have thunk it? Oklahoma. Actually, I would think that Oklahoma would do
that would be the first team I'd pick, probably.
That's probably
Minnesota.
Oh, stop it. Don't do that. No.
I just, you know, all the not fun places to live. Anyway. Shout out to Sleeper, by the way. They may not be on the sponsor banner, but we do want to talk about them. Up to $500 on your first deposit, as long as you click the link in the description or the one that pops up in chat. They got dynamic payouts. You can get up to a 100x multiplier when you put together a card on Sleeper. My recommendation, grab that deposit bonus and sign up for a week or two of Odd Shopper, because I think that's going to change up the way that you're playing on the pick'em sites. Maybe you're on others as well. Get that bonus money, cycle through with whatever plays pop up on Odd Shopper via Sleeper. It'll pump out the free squares for sure, which feel like they exist every single day. And right now with baseball and basketball going, you probably do get one every single day, along with countless additional plays, way more details, expected value, expected win rate, all that good stuff. That is going to make you better at Sleeper and make it a little bit easier to play through that deposit match bonus. So if you can, click the link and sign up now. It's Sleeper. I can see the link in chat. That's perfect. There's also another one in the description if that works better for you. Who are your favorite GPP plays for today? It's very easy for us to be like, well, I'd like to play Marvin Bagley. Who are you on that's a little bit maybe off the beaten path?
Tyrese Maxey against Cleveland. I was a little bit surprised, but this has more to do with the minutes. We did get word that Joel Embiid is going to come back this season and possibly back before the end of the regular season. I think until then, we just saw 44 minutes against the Clippers for Tyrese Maxey. So I think this has more to do with for minutes thing. We have him in for 37 minutes here at Stochastic, and I've got him for 40. I ramped him up a little bit because I do think this is just a spot where I think Philadelphia has some new life getting that news, and having a guy like Maxey, the price tag has started to slide down. It's obviously a difficult matchup. And now Donovan Mitchell on the other side of this one, but Donovan Mitchell isn't adding better defense to the basketball floor. So I really, really like Tyrese Maxey at 8,600 for tournaments, making a pretty large stand on him at 3.8% ownership.
For me, I had no problem with Maxey. He's a guy that I typically get to when nobody is. So everything you're saying about Maxey, I don't have a ton, but I am over the field. Miles Bridges seems to be my guy. 7,800, small forward, power forward eligible. He's playing 38, 39, 40 minutes a night. I mean, every matchup's bad for them, but Warriors, middle of the pack defense, middle of the pack pace. It's a good enough spot. They're at home. He's a fantasy point per minute guy, generally speaking, 25% usage, 15% assist rate, in and around 10 rebounds. You need 50 out of him today to feel pretty good about it, but he's a guy that is currently projected for 6% ownership, showing up in a little over 20% of my lineups. One of the bigger stands of single-digit guys that I have. Only other guy that would be sort of in that bucket would be Miles Turner at 6,400, and I also took Miles Turner's over on Prize Picks today. Maybe Prize Picks goes a little bit better than it did yesterday. Shout out Herb Jones for being a total JO to me.
He did exactly what we said he was going to do too. He had 3 blocks and 3 stocks, or he had 3 blocks and 3 steals in the first half, and I had like 30 fantasy scores. So I got my over immediately. And then when he made those 2 free throws, I thought of you because I was like, oh, he just absolutely screwed Josh over, didn't he? And I looked.
So the free throws, I was good. I was on the good side.
Oh, you were
got a
on
rebound with 9 seconds left.
Oh, God. I thought he went over on the free throws for whatever reason. I saw him make both of those, and I was like, I couldn't remember if it was 18 and a half or 19 and a half that you had.
Yeah, I was good on the free throws. I would have had it by the hook, and then he got a rebound with less than 10 seconds to go. I wrote it off. I was just like, oh, there was like 56 seconds left or whatever. I opened it up on my phone, and I knew that I was 3 to the good, and I was like, oh, like this is... like barring a real disaster, I'm going to print this Prize Picks card. And I opened it back up again and it was like circled in red. I was like, what the fuck?
My God,
I was so unhappy. Dude, I was so very unhappy.
We got Trace Jackson Davis starting, which, I mean, I know he started against Orlando, but good to see that he's officially going to be doing that yet again. Yeah. He's pulling quite a bit of ownership. I'm not sure if that changes anything. I figured that they could just do whatever they wanted to there. Yeah. Clay coming off the bench is just something that I think is now going to just be solid at times, and then other times not necessarily. But I mean, he's starting here in Wiggins, Green. We have Kuminga out. Pajemski's just going to be coming off the bench eternally. But interesting. I didn't even process that was something that was even in flux. But he's appropriate. 27 minutes here. That's perfect.
He's in 35% of my lineups right now. So big Trace Jackson Davis fan for today. I'm going to circle back to Tim Bourne's super chat. Favorite DK plays at each position for tournaments? Perfect question to work our way through everything we want to talk about here. So, point guard.
Tyrese Maxey.
Favorite is Tyrese Maxey.
So again, I have Josh Giddey more, I have Jordan Poole more, but I have them closer to their ownership in terms of leverage. I have 28% Tyrese Maxey.
Okay, then yes, that is you answered that one properly.
I just think the minutes can. We just saw 44 against the Clippers. I think competitive spots, he's going to be the reason they stay competitive, and he's going to be on the floor eternally. Like, I do think that that's something Nick Nurse is happy to do right now.
Giddy's the guy that I have the most of. I don't really have any like weird plays. I'm kind of just right in line with ownership. I'm a little over on Poole. I'm a little over on Cole Anthony, but these guys are getting some love. So if you're looking for something different, it's Maxey. Otherwise, I do like the chalk of point guard today.
I'm with you.
Shooting guard.
Josh Giddey, I have the most of. Jordan Poole, the second most of. But guy, relative to ownership, I have a lot of Miles McBride.
Cade Cunningham in.
Okay. And Ivy in too. Ugh. Marcus Sasser out. That doesn't do a lot for us, though, because they'll just replace those minutes with somebody else.
Wait, who did you just say was your shooting guard dude?
Miles McBride.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I have 13% of him, so I'm there with you. Cam Thomas would be my guy. 17% owned. He's in 38% of my lineups.
He was my guy last time.
Small forward.
Andrew Wiggins.
Yeah, I have twice as much of Wiggins as I do of anybody else. I mentioned Miles Bridges before. He's my maxi, so I'm going to go with Bridges again.
Love.
Power forward.
Let's see. Still Jalen Williams. I don't see how you get away from playing Jalen Williams today.
I have Wiggins and Jalen Williams both in 50% of my stuff. And then obviously Miles Bridges still fits the bill here. Kuzma, as we mentioned earlier. Yep. Center.
Just jamming Marvin Bagley, but that's not going to help you necessarily for tournaments. So good talk there. Trace Jackson Davis. I was undercutting his minutes on accident. So I had him at 25 and I tried to cover myself for looking stupid there for a second, but we have him at 27. I ended up putting him right around 27 and a half here. And now he's going to show up a lot more for me on this next run. One guy, Anthony Davis, I'm just playing a lot of, so I think we're on different pages with that one. Against Indy. Also like Pascal Siakam, he's somebody that I'm going to be playing quite a bit of. I think he'll end up a little bit more popular. The Pacers have played 4 games now in 6 days. Pretty egregious scheduling on their behalf here, having a West Coast trip and then coming back, but he should be fully operational for normal minutes. The last 2 have kind of been outlier spots.
Bagley, agree. Trace Jackson Davis is my second most exposed guy. I mentioned Turner before, and I took Chet for White of the Night. So that's my center spots. So shout out Tim Bourne for that question. Riley Cooper sent one in, said, does Dre have anything to prove tonight? No. Business as usual for him.
Yeah, he'll probably... I mean, I did like Steve Kerr throwing him under the bus a little bit. That was fun.
They have to. They have to. There's no sugarcoating what happened.
Yeah, he's a dipshit.
Yeah, it's nothing you could do. Olrat, which 2 of these guys do you want in a single entry? Bagley, Chet, Miles Turner. That's kind of interesting for me.
Because you're playing a lot of the Turner fellow.
Yeah, and Chet.
Who are you playing more of? Well, there you go. Yeah, I mean, it just depends how many lineups you're playing too. I mean, if you're making one lineup, who do I prioritize out of those? I mean, obviously Bagley would be one. Bagley, and I would probably say I'm playing Jalen Williams in single entry. So I'll probably put Chet on the outside looking in, but like Chet's still a fantastic play.
I'm going to say Bagley Turner.
Okay.
I'm going to say Bagley Turner. But if you can't find anything really good to do with that extra 900, then switch it to Chet. Higher ceiling from Chet, obviously a bigger price, but higher raw point ceiling on Chet than you have for Turner.
Love.
Malcolm said tiers tonight. Malcolm, we already did it. You're going to need to go back to the beginning of the show, but we had already went through every single tier and gave our picks for it. Chris Albers, will Flynn get 20 plus minutes with Sasser out? I know this is a stupid way to say this answer, but like he certainly could. I wouldn't be confident in it.
Yeah, I wouldn't call that stupid at all. That's the right way to answer it.
It just feels so wishy-washy on like, maybe.
Yeah, but isn't that a lot of bench rotational guys? Like, for me, there's just nothing that's stopping Mo from just being like, all right, Fournier, you're going to play a little bit more. Troy Brown, you're going to mix in a little bit more here. There's just so many ways that they can just do whatever they want there. It's going to be primarily Cade Cunningham and Ivy, but considering they're both in, I don't have a ton of love to try to make that a thing. Plus Malachi Flynn, I mean, yeah, he's going to probably back up one of the two, but I think the guy that's probably the most interesting with Southser out would be Evan Fournier, and I'm not going to play Evan Fournier.
Yeah, I just have such little trust for what they're going to do. I mean, they're giving Jared Rhoden minutes, Troy Brown, Buddy Boeheim is getting on the floor from time to time. I just don't have any confidence in picking out of a hat of the 5 really extra shitty Detroit people.
Yeah, and I don't think at what their ownership's going to be, I don't think like the upside is like it's not worth it to go their direction with some of the value we already have on the slate, what could appear later. I think you're just kind of making a mistake by trying to force in a guy that you're hoping not Buddy Boeheim, but I would be like playing Evan Fournier in the hopes that somehow he walked into more usage. But like with Ivy and Cunningham there, they're going to stagger a little bit with each one of them. It just doesn't feel, it feels so thin to try to pull off on this slate specifically. I just like the Warriors in the early spot exponentially more. I would be playing more 5K Clay, 5,700 Clay, 5K Wiggins, like guys like that and mixing them in. I think going to sub 4K or around 4K value that isn't really value, not something you want to be doing today.
Do you have any other plays that you're relatively heavy on that you want to let the people know about?
Yeah, Dennis Schroeder. So, I mean, Cam Thomas was the nuke of the night. That was a very enjoyable experience the other night when you just saw him take all the usage. But I do think this is a spot to kind of like not buy low on Mikal Bridges, but I'm on his points prop. I'm basically looking at other guys that aren't necessarily Cam Thomas and finding avenues to land on more Dennis Schroeder, land on Mikal Bridges here in this spot as well. Pascal Siakam, we talked about him. Did we talk about Tyrese Halliburton, another guy at 8,900 that, you know, the tag's continuing to slide. He hasn't been playing well. The hamstring, I don't know if he's fine. I don't know if he's 100% or not. I did in LA run into his best friend or somebody who claimed that Tyrese Halliburton was his best friend. And he did confirm that Tyrese Halliburton was bitching to him about not feeling 100% and that the season was wearing on him. Don't know what the hell that means. We got Troy Brown Jr. starting. Wow.
I didn't even think about the fact that like you have like potential ties to him.
Yeah, Iowa State boy too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like you have
we met up and watched the second round game of the Iowa State. I was watching them on Saturday at a bar. We had like an Iowa State meetup in LA and he was there, and apparently, you know, they had pictures together, so there's that. But
DeAndre Ayton in.
Yep. I kind of want to play
Matisse Thybulle in.
I don't
want waiting for my watch
Ayton.
to go brrr, and then tell me the next one.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's generally what it is. I silenced mine, but am I gonna click on Ayton today at 8,300? Why is he playing today? Like, why did today be the day that they decided, oh yeah, we're gonna go to Ayton? And feels like a weird wonky spot. Like, put him up against Bam, somebody who's actually good and proficient. Like, you're a 14-point dog. What's the point?
We have reached a time in the show where we need to get another answer to a question. Chat, hit the like button if you want to know who the nuke of the night is for today. This is fantastic.
What is it?
I'm finally watching these things now.
Oh yeah, here goes my dick. There it is.
Here goes my dick.
Well, it is. It's my dick blowing off, and Greg loves to accentuate that fact every single time.
Who's the nuke of the night?
All right,
I think I know the answer already.
Oh yeah, Tyrese. I was gonna go to Mikal Bridges. That was going to be the guy, but I just keep looking at my lineups, and it would be disingenuous to talk about anybody other than Tyrese Maxey, who is going to play more minutes than I expect. I think going forward than we all expect going forward. Yeah, it's just one game. It's only one game, and it was competitive the whole way going up against Clippers. But regulation, 44 minutes for him in a tough spot there. And Cleveland, you get Donovan Mitchell on the floor alongside Garland again. Not known for his defense, one Donovan Mitchell. Not that he's a complete zero at times, but Tyrese Maxey is now 8,600. This guy was 9,100 against the Clippers a couple days ago. And the tag is slid from 94 down to 8,600, which is accounting for the matchup. but it's not necessarily accounting for the potential minutes here. We already have him in for 37. They are pretty sizable dogs here against Cleveland, and there's really nothing from Cleveland that I'm landing on as guys are coming back. But
No.
I think this is like the one piece from this game that I just like a lot. And there aren't many slates that you run into where like sometimes we just have to get to Luka because, oh, the raw points and we have so much value or whatever. I think there's some sketchy value, and I'm going to the mid-range a lot. I'm kind of with you today on this slate. And 8,600 Tyrese Maxey just continues to show up for me. I like Tyrese Halliburton for a little bit more there as well. 300 more. I'm landing on quite a bit of him. Steph Curry for $200 less is a little bit appealing. So wild to see 8,400 next to his name. But I know I'm getting 3% Tyrese Maxey no matter what. I do see potential in the matchup that Halliburton has, and people who just click on Curry because, well, he's 8,400 now. I totally see those reasonings and why they're double-digit owned. But Maxey, Nuke of the night, somebody that I just have a ridiculous feeling could be playing 40 minutes a night in every competitive spot going forward.
It's going to be Miles Bridges for me. Over the past 30 days, he has averaged 39 minutes a night, the least amount of minutes he's played in the 13 games he played in March is 36. He got up over 40 a few times. And Charlotte gets the shit kicked out of them pretty regularly, and this dude's still going to be out there. If the game's competitive, he probably has a lot to do with it. I like this spot for him, especially with the game being at home. They're just way more likely to be in it if it's a home game than if it's a road game. So that's going to be Miles Bridges as my nuke of the night.
Klay Thompson scratched.
Huh. Okay.
That's a big piece. And
so Pajemski straight to the right back to his spot, right?
Yeah. Chris Paul.
I mean, I
4,800.
I mean, you got to give like Pajemski probably 29 minutes now.
I'm just working through this.
Pajemski's 4,700. He's going to play more than Chris Paul.
Boy.
Point guard, shooting guard eligibility. Obviously not the same per minute dude as Paul, but something in that 0.85 range.
I just get so worried about the last start for Pajemski. Did you watch Did you watch him play my Minnesota Timberwolves that night? Do you know what I'm talking about? Okay, good talk. Glad we had it. I'm just pulling this up because I don't want to misspeak. I guess I could just go to the box score in Cruncher or something. I'm going to go over here to Popcorn Machine. I'm going to find this.
I'm going with this with the assumption that he just steps into the starting lineup now. If it's not him, then obviously this is a different conversation. But I'm assuming we're just about to get 29 or 30 minutes out of Pajemski.
What I'm worried is that, I don't know. Gary Payton II freaks me out a little bit. I think this is a spot where, no, not at all.
No, I get where you're coming from there.
Okay. He played 23
and a half minutes 3 days ago, or 3 games ago.
Yep, it was against Minnesota. Told you. I had a feeling it was going to be Chris Paul. Pajemski hadn't been playing very well, and Steve Kerr had some stuff where he basically was saying that Pajemski it just hasn't been pretty from him of late. And now with everybody healthy until today with Kuminga and now Klay Thompson getting scratched, I think this is an opportunity for Chris Paul to really go out and it feels like you want to get him going here leading into the playoffs. Obviously, the Western Conference is more open here, and you're going to ride Steph Curry wherever he takes you. But Chris Paul is a good piece still at this point in time, still over on dunks and threes, pretty highly rated. I'm glad that it's Chris Paul because I just think he's going to be able to do more out there offensive. I think there's going to be more upside. He has a 35% assist rate over the course of the entire season, only a 55% true shooting, but a better defender than Pajemski ever so slightly. And offensively, I mean, there's just more that he's able to do to set up a Steph Curry. I like Chris Paul, obviously, now.
Yeah, he looks to me like probably the best option from Golden State, either him or Trace Jackson Davis. Probably Paul, just from a positional standpoint. I have him around a fantasy point per minute here, 16% usage, 35% assist rate. Grading out now, I gave him a minutes bump to 28, which could be a little pessimistic, but still, we don't see him playing huge minutes frequently or playing again alongside Steph super frequently. But if I give him those 28 minutes, it moves him into the 4th overall spot for me. So I'm expecting him to be 25, 30, 35% owned, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, this is going to definitely trim into my maxi too, because this is a point guard priority now. Like, he's a fantasy point per minute guy, so 1.03 over the course of this season. Charlotte matchup that we should basically just expect that fantasy rate to transfer over. The minutes upside is there. I think 28 is the right number. I'm trying to decide if there's anything else that I want to be doing with any of the starters, because I think with Moody and Gary Payton, they can just kind of pawn off some of those minutes, and neither of them are all that appealing to me. I mean, Moody's a 0.9 fantasy point per minute guy. Gary Payton a little bit better than 0.8, but I think I'm just going to add a couple of minutes to them. I doubt I land on them, but I don't know. Is there anything else that you're kind of accounting for? Because I don't think I'm going to do anything crazy with like Wiggins, Green, or Steph Curry for this, even though Klay Thompson, you're obviously replacing some decent usage there. I mean, I had him for 24% usage today.
Yeah. Incremental changes for everybody else, but I think you're just giving a lot more minutes to Moody, who is like a value-ish play, but not anything you're really excited about. Peyton's obviously going to get a minutes bump, but not the best per minute guy. Santos probably gets 14 minutes or something. Doesn't really matter. I think it really just is a big step up for Chris Paul.
Yep, that's what I'm doing. You're going to do anything with Pajemski?
Probably an extra minute or two, but
Yeah.
I don't think that he's going to be factoring into any sort of discussion here.
No, absolutely not.
Guys, the promo code is DINGER. 30% off your first week, month, whatever you want from the MLB side. Baseball is here. Took third on the early. I'll take what I can get.
Let's go.
Helps to use the things that are at stokastic.com. Projections, ownership, top stacks, top pitchers, sims, lineup generator, premium Discord, and more. If you want to get in behind the paywall, this is the easiest way to do it. Click that link or use the promo code DINGER. When you sign up, you'll get 30% off your first payment. You'll be able to find a package that fits what you're looking for, fits the price tier you're looking for. We've got ultra cheap if you're looking for the lineup generator and you just want to see what we've got going on, all the way up to our Sims Max package, which obviously will be the biggest dollar amount you'll get off with that 30%. Again, promo code DINGER, link in chat or in the description of this video. Sign up, come join us. It's baseball time, everybody. Not that we're going to stop talking about basketball, but we got a lot of baseball going on. So we talked about your favorite GPP plays. We've talked about all the guys we really like. Let's flip the script. Who are the fades for today? Who are we not really getting to that the public sort of likes?
Trendon Watford's a weird one to me. 3,100.
Sure.
I just don't see crazy minutes upside for him. He's really outperformed the last two, 21 and 19 minutes. But like, do I want to add more minutes to him whatsoever? It feels not even just like chasey, but like, I don't see how you project him for more than 18, 19 minutes. And it just doesn't feel like somebody that I'm necessarily going to be getting to at all, let alone, nearly 20% ownership last time that I looked.
I like the shout for Watford. He is my 8th most under the field guy. So okay. He is at near the top of that list for me. The number one fade that I have is Draymond Green. I have one single lineup. He's 13% owned. That is the biggest gap between my exposure and public exposure, tied with Anthony Davis. That one scares me.
Yeah, that should, because I love Anthony Davis. And I mean, now with Chris Paul, I got to imagine a point guard that sub 5K that's going to be absorbing it. I would be shocked if I reran stuff and didn't get to like 50 or more percent of Anthony Davis. Craig Porter Jr. and Karis LeVert ruled out.
Interesting. Okay. Much better for Sam Merrill off the bench.
Yeah. George Niang, maybe a little bit.
Jeremy Grant out. Yeah. But, I mean, with Mitchell being back, it's probably not going to matter all that much. Okoro can kind of maintain some of the minutes that he was getting previously. Now that Strus is back in the starting lineup.
Yeah, if you wanted to dip your toes in the Sam Merrill pool, have fun. I'm not going to at 4,100. I mean, you get Donovan Mitchell on the 32% usage back on the floor. That's not going to move the needle for me. Even though I do like Maxey, and it would be like, oh, can I pair it with something? No, that's pointless in NBA. I'm not going to do that.
Terry Wilson wants our top FanDuel plays at each position.
I didn't make FanDuel lineups today, but I at least pulled up some stuff here to have an idea of what we're looking at. We have Jabari Walker at $4,700. He seems pretty useful. Now we got the word that he's going to be starting.
Yeah.
So DraftKings, FanDuel, both of them, I think he's going to be a decent piece of value for you. Corey Kispert, 5,300 for Washington, a little bit over-owned. Probably, I don't know, it just seems like a guy that would fit in pretty easy to line up. Small forward, 5,300. Trace Jackson Davis, power forward eligibility on FanDuel. That's a big deal to me, although I guess I haven't refreshed the boom bust tool here. I was just running these lineups. He's got to be having some negative leverage to some extent because, I mean, that eligibility is very useful over there.
By the way, Chris Paul, 5,500 on FanDuel. Yeah, top three guys in ownership are Jabari Walker, Corey Kispert, Vasily Micic. And then it starts to get a little dicey. We did have Clay near the top. That's gone. Highest owned center is Bam. Unless you want to count Trace Jackson Davis as a center, but probably easier to use him as a power forward and get to Bam at the center spot. But Miles Turner, Jalen Duren, not too far behind.
Yep. Good stuff.
Final question for you. We need to know, who is the Amber Heard play of the day? Who is most likely to leave a steamer in your bed?
It's got to be Josh Giddey at this point in time. I have a lot of him at shooting guard, it would appear, 6,300. And I mean, it's just not, with SGA out, it's just him and Jalen Williams showing up a ton for me yet again. We haven't seen some crazy spike to the minutes. They just continue to keep him right around 31, 32. But my God, does he get stuff done on a basketball floor? 1.15 fantasy point per minute producer over the course of this season. You're going to bump that way up to right around 1.25 with SGA off the floor. And as such, I mean, I just have a large allotment of lineups that have 6,300 Josh Giddey in them. And we already know that, you know, he's not exactly the public's favorite guy. So he would definitely be somebody that I think potentially I'd be okay having get shit on, if you will.
There we go. There we go. For me, Andrew Wiggins is probably pretty high up there. I have a lot in comparison to where the ownership was. If that ownership comes up because of the Clay change, that might not be the most appealing answer. So I'm going to go the reverse way, the same way that I handled this one yesterday. The guy that's most likely to crush me is going to be Anthony Davis, 10,400, projected for 20% ownership. Probably easier to get even more now. He has power forward eligibility. We just created a little bit more value with the Chris Paul news. So Anthony Davis is the guy most likely to leave a steamer under my sheets.
He is an 18 of my 25 as I'm sorting right now. So
yeah. That'll do it.
That'll do it. Sorry. I mean, it's so much easier to get there now.
It's so way easier. Way easier. I think it's also easier, interestingly enough, to get to a very tricky Nikola Jokic in a game that you feel like people are going to care about.
Well, I care about it. I'm a Minnesota fan. I obviously care about it. It's just that he's 12K and I can get Anthony Davis and LeBron James against the Pacers at 10-3, 10-4. I just keep landing there repeatedly.
By the way, everybody, we're going to be exclusively live on Playback in about 7 minutes. Playback.tv/Stokastic. Join myself and Greg talking news that comes out all the way up until 8 o'clock. Any bets that we have, basically anything that we want to talk about. If you have League Pass, you can watch the game with us. If you don't, cross your fingers and hope that you get one of our 40 VIP passes so that you can watch along with us. We got a couple minutes left before this show is done. So chat, I'm opening it up to you. If you have any questions for us before we get to lock, now is the time to ask them. And make sure they're good. Because if it's some nonsense 1v1, I will not answer that question. You should go to the NBA player compare tool on stokastic.com. You can all get those answers for free. We have it. It's there. Go to stokastic.com, click in the tools link, find the NBA player compare tool. Because you could do all of the 1v1s and 2v2s until your heart's content, see projections and ownership and optimal rates and all that good stuff. Chuck wants to know, how much Troy Brown am I getting to? None.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. Troy Brown with my Timberwolves at the beginning of the season, we've seen him everywhere. He's been everywhere. And if he doesn't go Inferno from 3, you have nothing to worry about.
Yeah, right. Like, is he gettable? Yeah, like with him being in the starting lineup, very reasonable. 3,700 small forward, power forward eligible. Really not great per minute, dude. completely viable, just not a guy that I have my eye on for today.
With you.
Malakar, any Wreath tonight? Absolutely not. DeAndre Ayton plays. Full stop, 0.
I have 100% Chris Paul now. Now that I updated everything for anybody who cares.
I think that's very reasonable. Trill Fate says, let's talk whale blubber. Great callback.
I'm also playing Moses Moody. I can't believe I'm doing this, but I just gave him 21 minutes, I think, and he's showing up in everything.
Skittles wants to know any Achua unplayable.
Playable. Don't even consider it and withdraw. Well, you can't withdraw your lineups now, but yeah, don't play Achua.
All right, what else do we have here?
Is that my dad's laptop? What in the world was that sound?
That was me, I think.
Oh, it was you? Okay.
I think so. Joseph Ramirez wants to know if I'm hoping for a draw or an Arsenal win on Sunday. I assume draw, just because that's the least amount of points coming out of the game. I assume that benefits me the most. But if I'm cheering for anything, it's certainly not a Manchester City win.
No, you're not, because I'm a Man U fan, and you would never do such a thing. Supporter, if you will.
Yuck.
Just saying.
Manchester, full of shit.
I went there when I was like in 6th grade or something, and it's just stuck with me. So it is what it is.
That's fair.
We all have our faults.
Is Metu a good play tonight?
No.
Agreed. If he were starting, yes. Now, probably not worth the risk on a 10 gamer.
Yeah, that was
is
the
Bamba
thing where I was
a good
like,
play
Troy
instead
Brown's
of Wreath. Malakar, what are you trying to do tonight? Like Dwop Wreath is about to play 13 minutes today. Where's your head at? No, Mo Bamba is unowned, 1% optimal, and not in play.
I got 1 share of Troy Brown Jr. just in case he absolutely smashes. I just want to have that off my conscience that happened after the fact.
I want to see if we got any questions in our Slack.
Okay.
We did not. And when I say Slack, I mean Discord, but whatever. Humboldt wants to know, why is pick 6 rejecting my plays? They must be that bad.
What state are you in? That's the question. Pull up the map. You can just type in, where is pick 6 available? And if it's not bright orange on the map, you don't have access to it.
All right. What else do we have here? Is McConnell a play? A little bit, 4,800. You're always likely to run into like Halliburton leaving the floor at this point and sneaking in there. But I mean, now that we have Chris Paul, I assume that Halliburton or the McConnell ownership comes down a little bit. He's probably like totally fine in that 5 to 10% range.
Yeah, every single slate for the most part. I mean, for whatever reason, they just don't want to put his price tag above 5K, which I get. I mean, it's probably justified, but I mean, you're not ever getting rotational run. Like, there's so many spots where a guy can play over the starter. You're never going to see Tyrese Halliburton have TJ McConnell play over him. And that just makes it so hard. Unless there's foul trouble or Halliburton gets hurt, you're probably running into 18, 20 minutes every single time for Halliburton. There's no right tail where he just plays himself into playing alongside Halliburton. They just don't want to do it ever. And it's frustrating at times, but with Aaron Nesmith there's just more reason for them not to do it. And God forbid they ever do something where McConnell and Halliburton want to be sharing the floor together.
Do we have anything else?
Is Jimmy Butler somebody that you're getting to at all?
Forgot he was on the slate, so you said it.
There you go.
I have 6%.
Okay.
Nothing overwhelming. Does grade out really well, but just 8K is a pretty full price tag.
Yeah, I mean, Caleb Martin out. It's not like somebody with crazy usage, 17.6%, but I do think that Jimmy Butler against Portland, I'm going to dabble a little bit. 30
seconds to go before lock. Everybody, if you don't have your lineups in, stop listening to me and upload them shits, because things will be a lot worse for you if you don't get them in the next 20 seconds. But this is the end of the show. NBA Live Before Lock is over. What an incredible hour of television this was. I don't know how else to describe it. It was fun. We closed out the work week.
We did, my friend. We did.
Anything else you want to add before we get out of here? I know you're trying to go have some fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna go have some fun with the fam and go run around Scottsdale. So gonna be a fun weekend. Get to play a little golf. Get to enjoy a little Easter. Happy Easter, everybody! And let's go win some damn money.
Join us, everybody, right now, exclusively on Playback. Thank you to Dinger for sponsoring this show. 30% off at Stochastic MLB DFS package. Enjoy everything. Strategy show in the morning tomorrow. We don't ever stop. Good luck, everybody. We'll talk to you later.